At 1 o'clock, go ahead and start the September Board of Firefighting Personnel Standards and Education. I'd like to thank the Emergency Response Conference for hosting us today. The first item is termination of employment. Do you have that correct?
Yes.
We have consideration and approval of the June 2023 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, motion to approve.
We have a motion on the floor to approve. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item C is the State Fire Marshal report.
Just briefly go over some things. The State Fire Marshal's Office, Homeland Security, has been really, over the last few years, working on the Hub and Spoke program to get training facilities within the state within a 30-mile radius. And 2 or 3 weeks ago, Governor, IGA staff, and we had kickoff in Plymouth, Indiana, announcing that Rensselaer, Harrison Township, Wabash, and Clinton would be phase 1 of that process. And so we're going to have, starting next week, some construction kickoff meetings with those departments, and start that process. The state granted us $7.7 million. These 4 will not use all that money. We just want to get these off the ground. These will have a quick impact in their geographic areas and areas that are a training desert. And so we're looking forward to getting these up in the air and getting the firefighters where they can do their firefighter 1 and 2 skills and what these are engineered for, so we can give them the skills and the ability to do those things that are the basic competencies of firefighters. Along with that is the $10 million for firefighter PPE for those volunteer fire departments who are the poorest, that their budgets will not allow them to be able to purchase. They have really little turnout gear to be able to give them new turnout gear and the CBA. So that process, we're working through that. See here, just want to brag on my team all the way across the board. Training Academy, fire investigation, radiation, code enforcement. I just have a lot of good people working for the State Fire Marshal's Office right now. We're getting a lot done. Very proud of the work that we're doing. Fire investigation wise, we've had 69, probably more than that now since I wrote this down, but fire fatalities for the year. 59 of those were adults and 8 were juveniles. Fire is still a thing. Most fire departments only know their jurisdiction. We get calls for fire fatalities every week across the state of Indiana. Kind of keep pushing back to the basics of smoke alarms. Most of these fire fatalities did not have working smoke alarms. We can never be done pushing those very basic things out to the people that we work for in the state of Indiana, and being actively involved in smoke alarms. The AFFF phone pickup, so far we've picked up just about 35,000 gallons of AFFF foam in the state, which is the PFAS cancer causing at 243 sites. Very happy with that. We're able to take something that's a high risk to the health of our firefighters and be able to take it out of the work environment and be able to help them and continue those initiatives. Let's see here. I think a lot of stuff's probably going to overlap with our training. John speak of that. Just one other thing, the Chiefs Academy, I brag on my crew, our crew, again, very professional, good education for fire chiefs, some people who want to develop to be fire chiefs, to help give them some skills that they would not have gotten being in the positions that they're put in. It's probably the best received class, the state feedback that we get, and being able to provide all those leadership budgetary, HR, the nuts and bolts, the bread and butter of what it takes to run a fire department in your class. I'm very happy with us being able to be a part of that. So that's my report. If you have any questions or comments?
Thank you, Marshall. Item D is the Academy Director report. Sherry?
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. And I'll keep my report brief as well. Obviously, there's a significant amount of things that you touch on a daily basis that may not hit the worthiness of a board meeting for you guys, but from our field operations, all the sections are now filled. There's no vacancies. So if you've not already if you see James Warren, welcome him as the District 8 and 10 Program Manager. And Dave Owens, some of you might know Dave Owens from Whitestown, is also going to be the 5 and 7. So they've all been onboarded. And then we've reinstated in some sections or hired all the 10 district coordinators that we used to have back when we used to have the fire training system. So it's called a multi-layer there of having a local person within your district and then also a program manager that's over 2 districts so that you have access as the fire service to someone fairly close and within a quick turnaround for good customer service when it comes to issues related to training out in the districts. From the website of things, fire certification along with the PIO's office has added what's called an instructor corner now. And really it's kind of buried in the page. We know that our website's massive. It's the state and it's huge. We get that. But within that, if you scroll down corner, what we've done is we've resurrected things that kind of used to be on the website that are common complaints and concerns that the girls get, such as where do I find my instructor continuing education hours? A lot of stuff got moved to CADIS, but there was really not a lot of dissemination of information how to go find it in a CADIS. It's just now a link, you click on it, it's a PDF, you download it. So a lot of the stuff to help the instructors, there will be more to come with that in the future to just developing a whole corner that will help the instructors have access to the right things they need to be able to deliver the class. Also in that instructor corner, Zach and his group, along with a lot of other people that looked over it, has uploaded we've had instructor templates, but the instructor templates were like in each certification. So if you went to like a driver operator or an instructor, each one of them was specific to that. This is just a general handbook that covers being an instructor, a lead instructor, proctoring, and within that is a lot of frequently asked questions that we get on a regular basis. So it's just making the fire service aware that if they go to that handbook, there's a ton of good information that will address a lot of issues that people have or concerns of what is the gray area, what's the black and white. It's buried within that frequency ask document. So I would recommend everyone to go look at that. We've mentioned it briefly at the last meeting, but really the starting point, it's almost a change, is if you're having any questions, you should really go to that instructor corner, scroll down and go under what's called the prerequisite list. And Zach and his team as well has worked with PIO, and it looks like an Excel sheet. It's a smart sheet, but it's real time. So the second, like we'll talk about investigator, the second it's updated, everything is real time. And so none of the typical state way it's been operating is that we're months and months behind and we're books and books behind. And they've also taken the time to go research every version of an emergency rule. So if there's any questions of what is the prerequisite, what's the book that's being used, what's the coach, it's all right there real time. And if we can kind of get the fire service to understand, start there, and you'll answer a lot of your questions. And that's what the good work that they've done as well. As Marshall mentioned, we just finished our 5th Fire Chief Academy, which is obviously through legislature. And we appreciate all the support of that. Great reviews, sold out completely, people on the wait list. We also recently, if you saw, there's a horrible echo, but we were awarded 8 additional National Fire Academies from Maryland to bring it here in the state. And some of those 6-day classes have never been offered in the state. You normally have to go to Maryland. Thing to all the state directors and said, hey, we'll give each state a class. Well, I took a little bit farther and I hit them up. I'm like, well, how aggressive can I be? They said it's first come, first serve. So we aggressively, and we placed them all throughout the state. And the first one starts Monday. The first class we're being offered, it's in Evansville, a high rise, and it has a wait list. So these classes are being widely accepted, and it's all the National Fire Academy money, just free money. They end up giving us 8 classes versus 1. So I'm kind of excited to spend other people's money. As the marshal said, Elizabeth done a good job working on this. The next level project, we have already submitted, not only is there fire training, but there was also, I believe, 1.5, right? For the props, is that right? Okay, 1.1 million within that next level that was set aside to deal with the prop issues that we have. As you know, probably the most used we have is the SCBA confidence course. And that has already been submitted based on the other one to be a duplication of what we have currently. So that is already sent out and submitted for processing. Also within her division and what Eric Funkhauser has kind of been heading this up, the resurrection of the incident management teams and all the credentialing. You've probably saw an email go out about a month or so to the state with all how to recertify and all that kind of stuff. It was kind of put on hold for about a year during COVID. So that's been released. And last I knew, they were hoping this week to roll out a new website, but I've not seen it from the PIO office. But fairly soon, there'll be another website dedicated or at least connected to ours that will deal with all things considered when it comes to incident management teams as we go forward in the state. So updates on the curriculum. We released the new curriculum for the fire investigator program, which has been a significant amount of time since that's been updated. We also released the driver operator and switched from a Jones of Bartlett to the IFSTA. So someone asked on a sidebar earlier, those are all live and good to go. The tests are all in there as well. So last thing I just want to say is I've been here 6 months now. So I thank you everyone for your patience as I am still learning every single day and overwhelmed, but it's been fun. In the first 6 months, I can say that thanks to the marshal allowing me to get out and to get to know the stakeholders, I've been able to visit 90 different departments or training centers around the state in 6 months. So we've just begun. So I'm glad to see the things that are happening, and I'm looking forward to working with each and every one of you. So if you have any questions for me, I'm open to any questions.
I will say we did have 2 of our firefighters, our chiefs,
Okay,
training.
I'm glad to hear that. I don't think I've ever heard a bad review from that class. So
They were bragging on them down there.
So very good.
Questions? Next item is old business. New business. Nothing on the agenda. Does anybody have anything like to bring it up? Non-legal.
Nobody's complaining. Somebody's got to.
Come on, Tom.
I think somebody answered. Let's bring something up.
The floor is yours.
That's my old job. My new job, being friendly and happy.
Legal, floor is yours.
In your meeting materials, first off, Justin Goodell, IDHS General Counsel, in your meeting materials, you should have received a draft memorandum of understanding with the Office of Administrative Law Proceedings. This is a template that they use. They're the agency that provides the administrative law judges to all the state agencies across the state when administrative review cases are had. And that's a draft template agreement that they use with all the other state agencies that outlines their role in the process and how they work with you guys. So the administrative, how cases get to them, how they get back to you guys for a final order, who's responsible for processing public records requests, who's responsible for providing an interpreter if it's needed. So administrative provisions regarding that. However, there are one thing in there that I wanted to point out that some bodies differentiate on, and that's when they delegated final authority to the Office of Administrative Law Proceedings, to the ALJ to issue a final order. And in this draft agreement, it's set up the same as we presented to the EMS Commission and our Fire Prevention and Building Safety Commission to delegate that authority when the parties have agreed to the resolution, when there's a settlement, so there's no longer a dispute. If IDHS or this body rescinded the order that they issued. So if we no longer want to pursue it, or if the person petitioning for administrative review has said, I don't want to challenge this anymore, let's drop the case. In those instances, and when an emergency order is issued, those have been delegated in this draft to the Office of Administrative Law Proceedings so that they can issue a final order without that order having to come back to this body to resolve the case. And so that's what it's been delegated for. The reason why we needed to do it for emergency orders is those are time sensitive and they expire within 90 days. And most times those cases won't make it back to this body to even be heard within 90 days of being filed. And so to give them a forum to have those disputes heard, we needed to delegate that authority to OALP. So if there's no questions about anything in there, we would recommend that you adopt this as provided. Like I said, this has already been approved by our EMS Commission, our Fire Prevention Building Safety Commission. So ideally, we don't modify it so all the boards that our staff supports can have a same process that they administer for everybody.
Mr. Chairman, I just have a question about number 6, item 6. Am I reading that right? That all orders will be sent to EMS certifications?
Yeah, so that, I think that was from a previous version and they should actually, and we'll update that. So with one amendment that be updated to where they should be sent to firefighter board at dhs.in.gov would be my recommendation to edit it.
Anybody else have any questions? We do need a motion.
Yeah, we'll need a motion to
I'll
approve.
move to approve with that correction.
Second motion.
A motion to approve, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Kind of in that same vein, our staff and legal at the DHS legal, we process these administrative review matters when they come in. And so that entails us, our staff saying, was it filed within 15 days? Is it a firefighter board order or is it a zoning issue? And is there jurisdiction? After that check happens, we automatically direct those cases straight to OALP for assignment of administrative law judge. Or if not, we'll issue a denial order saying this was filed 6 months after the order was issued. You're not timely. We wanted to get a reaffirmation. So that's the current process that's occurring. However, since we just approved the MOU, we wanted the body just to reaffirm that process. So we had it all in one meeting so we could refer back to this meeting for our administrative review process. So if you could reaffirm that, that's how you'd like those processed. We'd request that you move to reaffirm.
So moved that we reaffirm a document on how we do administrative law our process.
And second. Second. Motion to reaffirm is on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Great. Hillary Egan, Deputy General Counsel. I'll just give a brief update on the Title 655 rulemaking and where we stand on that. So last month, so the legislature, the past General Assembly session changed up the rulemaking process a little bit. And one thing they added is if there's any monetary considerations, like any fines or anything, that it has to go before the state budget committee, no matter how small that amount is. So there's a $50 fee that's included in the new rule rewrite. Sorry, that's hard to say. And that had to go before OMB, and they approved of it. And so the next step is just getting OMB's just ultimate approval letter for the rule rewrites. And then at that point, we will begin with the rulemaking process. It's like the first thing would be a notice of a first public comment period. So that is where we stand with the rule rewrite.
Legal evidence.
No, not at this time.
Next item is open discussion. Anybody on the board have anything to do they would like to add? Anybody in the audience?
Oh, that's right.
That'd be a record.
To adjourn? Wishing to adjourn. Second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
I was gonna move, we fired right, driving, but it's too.